All right, welcome back to another episode of Los Compadres Del Beis. I am Bert.
I'm Sam.
It's Gabe.
Raul.
So Gabe's joining us today for another session. We're going to go over a few things. We're going to start off with spring training.
Yeah, we're about a week and a half now into spring training, and just kind of wanted everyone's thoughts of like how's everyone looking as far as either the Angels or just as a whole. As far as and what your guys' thoughts are on some of the injuries that have happened right now. Even before the first game happened, Josh Hamilton, I think he was just doing base run training.
Yeah, base running.
He got a strained calf, and doesn't seem to be as much of a major injury. But C.J. Wilson also got hit in the head with a line drive. So, what are your guys' thoughts as far as like injuries and precautions that teams need to be taking during spring training?
Well, I think they should be working out a little bit better maybe before, because spring training is when you're trying to iron out your game, not trying to get into stretching and not getting hurt, because it's not even at the speed of regular baseball yet. So you should be almost in game time form. So I don't know if this has to do with your trainers or what you're doing in the offseason.
But for Hamilton, he seemed what was the story? He gained 28 pounds.
Muscle. 30.
Pretty much just a muscle. If you've seen him, it's not. He doesn't look fat at all or anything. So it seems like he's been at least doing some form of training during the off season, but
Didn't seem to work because he got injured. Was he even running instead of just lifting?
Yeah, it might have just been lifting.
No, well, a lot of times, especially with injuries, is the lack of stretching. Even though people take it for granted, it's like I played a little bit, and the most important thing before you play the game is stretching. Because if you don't get warmed up yourself before game time, even before doing running, you can always just tweak something, and that takes a little while to come back from.
It just sucks because it's just a simple base running training, and it's costing Hamilton, though he should be back before the season starts. Hopefully.
Well, at first they said a couple days, and then Sosha said that he was going to take him out for a couple weeks just for precautionary reasons. So he should be able to be back in the lineup pretty soon.
It just sucks he's not getting the benefit of spring training and trying to work out a swing, which I guess reports were that he looked really good at swinging the bat, but that's just batting practice.
I just hope it's not a lingering injury that's from now and then. A month into the season, it's like, oh, remember that calf injury?
Yeah.
It's still there. It's nagging him. And if he didn't start right, and if he gets injured again, it's just going to come back to the beginning and see it was that injury. So, hopefully they'll give him the time off, week and a half, whatever.
Say like with Pujols, they always said I don't know if it was his push off leg or his landing leg, but either one, one's important for one reason or the other, either because you're pushing off of it or because you're landing on it. And your legs are basically what you need the most, because that's what you use to hit, that's what you use to run, and that's all the game is.
Yeah, as being Angel fans, we're always scared because it seems like for us, day to day, or an injury that's a day to day injury, or an injury that's about 1 to 2 weeks turns into months long. Look at Kendry Morales. Look at Peter Borges. Look at Howie Kendrick. Even Sean Burnett last year. Ryan Madsen. He should be back before the season starts. He just never comes.
He never came.
Sean Burnett. He's a couple days away. Then there's slight injury happens while stretching.
Setbacks here.
Setback there. So with the Angels, even just Pujols, who wasn't healthy at all last year, which though he was still playing, he probably should have been shut down. But so we're always kind of concerned a little bit with Hamilton, whether something that could linger, especially with how positive it looked coming into spring training. And then, as far as C.J. Wilson goes, getting hit in the head with a line drive, not the funny part, but the thing is, immediately after it happened, they brought out the pitcher guard, the L screen. Should they have had it out there to begin with? Or is it because something that they say it hampers the pitcher's follow through? But if you put it far enough ahead, would it still work right? Or
it wouldn't be the same as pitching regular. But he was okay. He was. I follow him on Twitter, and he was tweeting right away saying he's good, even joking about it because he plays Quiz Up, and he's saying that would be a good day to play against him. And then he said he was gonna purposely misspell words so people think that he's all messed up. But he was okay. Spring training right now, I know a lot of people are worried about, say, like Kershaw. They're saying, he's got lit up the first 2 games he's pitched, but it's mostly used to fine tune your pitches, to work on this and that. And you're not going 100% yet, at least not in the first couple weeks.
Yeah, for spring training, usually I just use it as like a thing to see how maybe people were questionable about, to see how they're going to do. Like I wouldn't take anything stock of Kershaw is struggling right now. Kershaw is going to be Kershaw. Mm-hmm. The only thing is that, like, for the Angels, as far as like looking up to see how Skaggs might do, looking at how Santiago might do, something like that. Who's going to win those final spots in the rotation? Comparing like Shoemaker, even though he has an outside chance to make the rotation, somebody like that pitching. But or even Pujols, looking to see how how healthy his legs are. Not necessarily if he's hitting. Well, if he's hitting home runs, if he has the power to hit a home run based on his leg strength, but not necessarily if he's batting 400, batting 300.
Right. And it's for a lot of the people that are on minor league contracts that are to see if they're ready again to play in the major leagues.
The Angels have Brennan Bosch, Carlos Pena, Yorvit Torrealba, maybe people that have outside chance to be bench players. Basically, Pena, he bats 190, but maybe it'd be valuable as we're down by 2 runs. There's two runners on base or a runner on base. Who guy in the 9th inning who can maybe tie up the swing if Shuck is batting. Maybe pinch hit for Shuck or something and hit a 2-run home run, even though odds are he's going to strike out.
And so then they're also working out. They've had a couple chances to do the instant replay or extended instant replay. Oh, yeah. A couple plays at second base. I think another team also tried it, but I know we're talking a lot about the Angels, but it's what we've been watching.
There was it was against, forget what game it was. It might have been against, was it the Diamondbacks, I believe, because in the spring training game there's not as many.
Did it happen? A couple times, because I know the first one was Jimenez. Was the very first one that they did this year. It was I think it was also it was a play at second base. I don't remember if it was in that. That one also upheld. It was also called out, and then they went. It was quick too, and
it was very because I didn't see that one. The one I saw was the Shuck one, which it was really quick. They just put on the headphones. They determined that they didn't have anything to overturn the call, and they kept it as is. And which it seems a lot faster rather than having Ron Washington out there and just arguing and arguing and arguing. And then if they did overturn the call, having Sosha come out there and argue.
Because they said that they were going to average, I can't remember if it was like 20 to 30 seconds. They're trying not to make it go anything above that. And I was listening into, I forgot who it was, but they were saying that right now there's only, I think, 1 in 6 games or something of arguable plays that would merit a replay. So it's not like it's going to happen every single game. Right now they're doing it a lot, trying to work out the kinks and see. But they said that they're not going to challenge too much. So people would want to save them just in case.
Yeah, there's strategy to it, right?
Yeah.
Also, what I heard though is that I was watching I forgot what game I was watching today. I think it was like KC and someone. They're saying that replays actually be a lot quicker because every game that's on that day is going to have 4 umpires looking at it in New York. So even by the time they actually get to the thing, they're already going to tell them to stay for out. They just put it back down and go back. I know it's taking a minute, like 50 seconds, 2 minutes around there right now, just because no one else is watching. They have to watch it real quick there. by the time
And not every stadium has it right now, and they don't have as many cameras as a regular stadium. They have like maybe 2 or 3 watching that same.
Yeah, that's some
spot.
weird angles.
That angle for Shuck, like there was none that actually went right onto where the glove is. There was one that was like far end, kind of sees where like the player would be touching him, but technically the player's body was like in the way of the glove touching. And the other angle was from the other angle where you couldn't see where the glove would be touching him. So there's no definitive angle there, but that's something that is just because of spring training. We're not going to see that during the regular season, where the regular season they'll have 5, 6 different angles.
Yeah, many angles to get to make sure you get it right.
Yeah.
So that's the whole idea.
Which is good. Yeah.
Speaking of like the length of that, how do you guys think of the length of spring training in general?
I kind of like it's. Well, I would love for the season to start already, but the season's going to start when it's going to start. So it looks like the Angels have played 6 games, and Trout has only played 2, and so have the major starters. So it's not like it's overworking the starters. I think the Angels have only played 2 games where they had their actual lineup in there. The other 4, they've had like all the backups, Grant Green, Brennan Bosch, stuff like that playing, or even like just the minor leaguers, Taylor Lindsay or something like that in the lineup. So they haven't really been overworking any of the major stars. So as far as that being a fear or anything like that, they've been starting their pitchers, which is what is important.
Right.
Yeah.
But as far as I'd love for the season to start already, but I can see at least we'll get everybody to work out their kinks, give the minor leaguers some experience against close to pro level professional baseball players, because they might also be playing minor leaguers against the other team. But I think it's not bad. I would love for the season to start earlier, though.
Yeah, because it's like football, too. They always talk about extending it maybe a couple games by shortening out the preseason. And same with baseball. I mean, they already play 162 games, so would they shorten up the spring training and make the season longer? But then...
Yeah, everything we've ever heard is people saying the baseball season needs to be shorter. Baseball season needs to be shorter.
Yeah.
So if anything, they would maybe just shorten the season, or maybe make it start sooner so it doesn't carry on into November, which I think they've done recently.
I mean, the only pro I see in shortening not one of the pros I see in shortening the spring training would be like, I don't know, if you shorten it up for a week before than what it is now. I mean, technically you can save yourself a possible injury on that last week, maybe. Players, pushing it that extra week. I mean, I don't know. The longer it is, the more prone to someone actually getting injured. That's the only bad thing I see about the long duration of spring training. But otherwise, I mean, it's been played like this for years and years and years, and it's worked out. I mean, the other good thing about it is if people get hurt in the beginning, they still have that extra 4 weeks instead of, let's say, if it was shortened 3 weeks. I mean, so it works out. I mean, I have no problem with it, obviously.
And that's the case for as far as Dodger fans go. Greinke got injured too. Same thing as Hamilton, the strained calf. So
was that pitching or was that
pitching? Yeah,
he threw 4 pitches, I think.
Four pitches.
That pitch got hurt.
He got hurt, but I'm not sure. Was it just on the windup, or because I didn't actually see it?
No, well, he threw the 3rd pitch and then kind of like
limped off.
Not limped off, just like moving his leg. And the 4th pitch, he called over and then swapped off. He looked normal at least when he walked off. But I'm sure they're not gonna put him out there early.
It's precautionary reasons.
Yeah.
Number 2.
I guess the positives for both Hamilton and Greinke is that they both got injured like really early, like literally like the first day or even before the first day of spring training.
Yeah.
So it's positive that they're likely both going to be back before before the season starts. The only thing this will be a good way to test my theory that the Angels' injuries last longer, whether Greinke comes back before Hamilton or not.
Yeah.
So we'll see about that.
I mean, Greinke's been pretty good in the past of getting over injuries, and when he was with the Angels, I think early that season he was hurt, but he came back and he threw phenomenal.
Even that collarbone issue last year, like,
exactly.
He broke it. He still came back fairly
weeks.
fairly quick, and he came back and still didn't hamper him at all.
Yeah, because you can't throw a cast on the collarbone.
Exactly.
All right, so the next topic we're talking about is free agents.
And why players are still free agents. Like, the big one right now is, the 2 big ones are coincidentally ex-Angels, Irvin Santana and Kendrys Morales.
Yeah.
Which, it's kind of, I don't know, especially with teams that, a lot of teams have now signed free agents. They've used up their first round pick, the what's that word I'm looking for? Compensatory pick?
Yeah.
Compensation.
Yeah, compensation pick. So, the risk is a little lower on some of those teams like the Orioles, Even the Mariners, if they were to re-sign Kendry Morales. So yeah, like a team like I was talking to Raul before recording, if a team like the Orioles were to go after Kendry Morales, that would give them a ridiculously solid lineup.
Yeah.
Because they already have they have, I'd say on their team right now they have about 6 players that can probably hit 20 plus home runs. They got J.J. Hardy, they got Manny Machado, Chris Davis who can hit 50 plus.
Yeah.
They signed Nelson Cruz.
Jones.
They got Adam Jones, Matt Wieters.
Yeah.
That's
a lot
6
of
right
pop.
there. And then if they sign Kendry Morales, which they have a spot open for DH right now.
DH. Okay.
And then they still have Nick Markakis on the team. And I'm thinking probably
Mention
for
Harding for the.
Yeah. That
that'd be a really solid
Nate McLeod, but he maybe not 20, but at least 15.
Yeah. So they have a lot of pop in that lineup. The only thing questionable is their pitching, I guess.
They've been picking up a lot of people, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, they picked up Johan too, right?
Yeah, they picked up Johan Santana, which he's throwing. He's a Jamie Moyer of today.
And if I'm not mistaken, isn't the Oriole Park pretty
It's pretty
friendly?
hitter friendly.
Hitter friendly, so all those guys can have a good seasons this year.
Yeah. And then it goes back to that we're talking about the free agents. Did they make a mistake? They being Nelson Cruz and Kendry Morales by not taking the offer because the offer was $14.1 million, right? And
1
then
year,
Nelson,
right?
yeah, 1 year,
Yeah, which is
14.1, which that's ridiculous. So why would they not take it? Because Nelson Cruz ended up getting, I think, was $8 million.
Yeah. Yep.
And especially coming off the steroids
Exactly.
suspension.
You should have been smart enough and just said, I'm coming off this. I got to show at least 1 year that I'm
Yeah,
still
1
good.
year at 14.
And then-
Not too many people make $14.1 million for 1 year.
And in Texas, he still could hit a bunch of jacks. So even better than Oriole Park. So even then, he didn't even. His agent should be fine.
Even River Santana, he was gonna make I think 12 to 14, the same thing. And now
it was all 14.1.
Yeah, and now he's gonna look for something probably another 1 year. If
Well,
Remember, he was looking for $100 million. Like 5
Yeah.
years. So who was going to give him that to begin with? Okay.
What sucks for Irvin Santana is there was a beautiful chart that explained why. To me, it was the reason why he wasn't signed. It's a chart that shows like how inconsistent he is. As Angel fans,
Yeah,
we
he's
do
like
know
this.
that.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
every other year he's an ace,
Yeah.
but every other year he's Blanton. So it's. The manager, like, if I kind of like joke that the Angels should sign him for a 2-year contract, but bench him this year, and then hope the next year he plays. But no, it's a tough guy to sign to a long-term deal, especially with $100+ million that he was looking for.
Yeah.
So it's a guy that they're going to take him on a 1-year contract if he's ready to prove that he can do it back-to-back years. Maybe it helps leaving Angels pitching coach Mike Butcher going to other teams. Maybe what he did with the Royals is the real Irvin Santana, but he has to show what he can do for back-to-back years. They can do it in back-to-back years after he did it. He pitched, his win-loss record wouldn't show it last year, but he pitched really well with the Royals.
Yeah.
So if he can do it again this year with whatever team decides to finally sign him, maybe next year he can sign that $100+ million contract that he's trying to get.
Well, if the Orioles pick him up, they got some problems coming up. Anyone with a pitcher's ballpark is going to have troubles with him.
Yeah.
Especially like the Rangers and Yankees.
Yeah, because the Yankees need pitching. Well, they have, Sabathia, a 40-year-old Kuroda, and then potential question mark Tanaka.
But Tanaka, he looks solid.
No, he looked
in his outing. He's got a lot of pitches, and I think he's going to do good. And the way that they compared him in Japan, Darvish was always the more dominant strikeout pitcher.
Tanaka was more finesse.
He's more the finesse, Maddox type pitcher. But he's gonna get his strikeouts. He looks solid. He looks like he's gonna be good. So I don't.
Yeah, because what's the name was probably more erratic, right? Because even Darvish coming down here his first season, even kind of last year, he was prone to walking people, right?
Yeah.
But then he comes back, and then you don't know when he's going to throw a no-hitter, which he got close, I think, twice.
Yeah.
And he lost it, I think. I know one of them lost it with 2 outs in the 9th. And the other one, I think he lost it close to
the potential strike 3, right?
Yeah.
It was like
it was a line drive up the middle, wasn't it? Or?
No, well, it was the pitch before that was right down the middle,
Yeah.
but it was called a ball. And then he was and the next pitch
up the
was
middle.
up the middle.
And that was against the Astros.
I wouldn't be surprised if he does get away this year. I mean, he has the stuff.
Yeah.
And he's pretty dominant, too. So
To me, it kind of looks like the Yankees are trying to downplay Tanaka. Well, because they already openly said that, according to them, he's a number 3. but that's just probably them trying to reduce expectations.
Well, they even talked about putting him number 4 because they were saying that him and Kuroda are too similar to put them back to back. So say if they're facing one team and they got a 3 or 4 game series, and then they put Kuroda and then they put Tanaka next, they're going to be used to it because they got the same picture, same delay or whatever you call that slow down in their windup. Yeah. So they're going to be used to that. So.
And part of the whole downplaying I kind of got was from his first spring training appearance wasn't a start. It was Sabathia pitched first, then Kuroda pitched in that same game, and then Tanaka pitched in relief. So I don't know if that was a way of them trying to also downplay it a little bit, rather than saying like, even though they're only going to pitch 2-3 innings max, regardless, like there's still something to making them start that game.
I think that was 2 innings, 45 pitches or something like that.
Yeah,
whatever comes first.
Oh, you mean for the match? Okay, gotcha.
You know what I don't think is a number 1 starter anymore? Is CC. CC, I know he lost a lot of weight, but his fastball. I know it's early, but still him too. Like his fastball has been losing velocity. I remember once, of course, a while back when it was with Cleveland, 98, 97, 98. And then like last year, I saw him like a 90 pretty much. And this year he lost weight. A lot of times when a big pitcher loses weight, he's not going to be as strong as, even though I know fat's not like muscle or anything, but you still you lose weight. You don't throw as hard. Maybe you're better conditioned, you can go longer, but he's not gonna be able to throw as hard. And especially last year, I think he had over a 4 ERA. I think.
Yeah, he had a pretty rough one. Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think he's a number. He's still a good number now. I think maybe 3, 4, or even 5. Yeah. But number 1, no, he's not number 1 stuff.
See, you brought something up that made me think about the losing the weight and losing velocity. There's actually a pitcher last year that lost weight and gained like velocity that I'd never seen before, which is that person that we don't really like, Lackey. I mean, he was throwing in the mid 90s. When he was in the Angels, he was like the low 90s. So.
But then he also just come off.
He just came out of nowhere, though.
Yeah. A lot of times, though, you tell me, John, if you actually rehab it now, and nowadays it's pretty much you need to throw harder.
You get a new arm.
You get a new arm. You get a stronger tendon in your arm.
It's like that movie, Rookie of the Year.
It's because he probably ended up starting to put down the fried chicken and actually started more beer in the good dugout and started actually lifting weights.
Fried chicken's not good old.
Still hate that guy.
Yeah, but you brought up, I guess, decreasing velocity and stuff. What about Weaver? He's still, I guess, he's more of a guy. He didn't rely as much on his speed as Sabathia did. With him is deception, but it does kind of worry me a little bit. That he's now like topping out at 86. What they say?
I think it was 88.
Was 88? I know. At the end of last season, after he came off that elbow injury, even though it was on his left arm, but I guess they're showing like his his whipping motion that they have. That a lot of it does have to do with the left arm, which might generate the speed.
Yeah.
But they're saying that might have hampered it a little bit because towards the end of last year, he was throwing around 88. In his first start, I haven't seen how he did because I know he just pitched, I believe, today, right?
Today, it was today.
I'm not sure what his speed might have been today, but in his first start, they said it was around 86.
They said when he topped out, it said 88, and consistently 86, 87. But he topped out at 88. But they were saying that's good for right now.
Yeah.
Because it's still that's his, I think, second start.
Still building that arm strength back up.
I guess the good thing to hear is, I mean, he was never a power pitcher, obviously. He threw in the 91 through 93 when he started, in his like prime years, I guess. He just had that the change-up that made it even better. So, I mean, right now he's throwing 86 to 88. Yeah. As long as he has that big difference from that, the change-up, it makes people or the batters, miss him. I mean, he'll be good, but he's got to also locate and so he doesn't get hit.
Yeah. What about because kind of like the whole, with his decrease in speed, he's also decreased a lot of the strikeouts. So he's been relying
on a high strikeout pitcher.
He's been relying a lot now on pitching to contact and trying to get those outs. So does that kind of worry you guys going forward with Weaver as far as like finally he's not because I believe like 4 years ago he was averaging about 9 almost 10 strikeouts a game.
200. Yeah, he had like 230 strikeouts a couple of years ago.
He was always in the top 3.
Yeah, he's now in the 6 strikeout a game range, which is kind of a pretty big drop in like 3 or 4 year period.
Yeah. I mean, it's good if he pitches at Angel Stadium just because the ball's always hard. The pitcher's park. But I mean, it's when he gets to like Texas and Yankee Stadium, and that's when he's gonna be in his game and locate his pitches so they don't take him deep.
Well, I guess it's in his favor though, at least in the division. the only two hitter sparks is pretty much
Texas.
and then Astros left field is pretty short. But
Yeah.
anywhere else, it's kind of hard to hit, especially center.
Oakland's pretty tough, and Seattle's really tough.
That's why those at least he pitches in a.
And it doesn't hurt to have Calhoun, Trout, and Hamilton in the outfield.
So bring it down.
Do you think they took that into consideration when they did, or when they omitted him from the top 100?
Yeah, which
brings us to
segue top 100. Yeah, right now, recently, I think before spring training started, MLB Network did their top 100 players right now, which they've done. I think they've been doing
the last 3 or 4 years
at least. Well, at least since I've had MLB Network.
Yeah,
me too. That's what matters.
So I could have gone on for 50 years.
They've done their top 100 players of playing right now, and the last couple of years, I think even last year, Weaver was in the top 30.
Top 30 at least.
Which,
top 10
and then
for a while.
Last year, even due to injury, he didn't pitch as much, but he still had a solid 3.1 something ERA. I'm kind of guessing there. And somehow, the 3.1 something ERA, that's way above the league average.
Yeah.
And he fell completely off the list.
Yeah. Off the top 100.
And I've been hearing that it's mainly because of the innings pitch. It wasn't up there.
Yeah,
but like you said, it was a good record. It was a decent record, pretty good ERA. I mean, they didn't score much. I mean, I don't know if the whole velocity thing is just scaring out the shredder, whatever that is. It calculates the people. I mean, he just did good overall, and I don't understand why he just was completely off that top 100.
Yeah, well, the metrics that it goes by is it goes by the last 3 years average. Or what they've done in the last 3 years, and what they predict they'll do either this year or years to come, especially if they're rookies. But with him, I know he got hurt last year, but for a while he was always the I think he had the highest win percentage of all time. I think 2 years ago. I think I did the research on that. The highest win percentage by any pitcher of all time. That goes back to Nolan Ryan. That goes back to anyone else. His winning percentage was the highest, win per start. And so now, he's had a couple declines, and last year he was hurt. But I don't know how they took him off the top 100.
Yeah, especially I'm looking back at his last 3 years. Last year he went 11-8. He only pitched 24 starts, so he missed about 8 starts. And he had a 3.27 ERA. That's a solid ERA.
That's very respectable.
That's a very solid ERA. And he's coming off 2 back years. One where he went 20-5 with a 2.81, and 18-8 with a 2.41. So I don't see how you look back at those 3 numbers and say, "Oh, this guy's not top 100 material."
And the 11-8 also has to do with the Angels weren't producing any runs. The bullpen doesn't count because obviously if the bullpen loses it, they just get a no decision.
Yeah.
But a lot of it has to do with them score runs in the late innings and then end up losing it even after he pitches the 6 innings.
Or even allowing inherited runners, which fucks up his ERA even more.
Yeah, exactly.
Relievers do because that means you probably give him a little bit less wins.
Because he gets another decision if they lose it.
Yeah,
but
so he gets no wins though either, which he probably could have had at least 4 more at least.
That year, yes.
4 more.
And he brought up a good point that if, say, he left the bases loaded with 2 outs, and obviously his arm's probably dead by then, and then the guy gives up a bases clearing double, which then now he gets the loss because. Yeah. And so I'm sure that happened a lot of times.
And for Weaver, something I've noticed, maybe it's because I watch Angels baseball only. I'm not sure if this happens so much. Well, I follow other teams too, so I don't see it happen as often with Weaver. Something with Weaver that I've always noticed, his ERA is always completely inflated, even higher than it would be, is because he always has in his throughout his season, he'll have out of 30 games, he'll have 26 amazing games and 4 ridiculously terrible starts.
9 runs in the first inning.
Yeah, in Texas.
It's always Texas. Fucking Texas.
I know
it's always Texas. Sometimes Boston or something, but
but
it's always Texas. He'll just give up literally about 7 runs
Texas.
in 3 innings or something like that, or 9 runs in 2 innings or something like that. And I'd almost rather take that than take a guy who's just consistently about 3 runs a game he'll give up. I'll give a guy who can give us a shutout or a 1 run in 8 innings 80% of the time, and maybe, all right, he shit the fucking bed for a game. And then if you get it out of the way and then come back and pick 7 or 8 solid starts in a row.
Yeah.
But that's usually what I've noticed with Weaver. The 3.27 ERA, he probably had 3 terrible starts last season, which inflated his ERA. Which with the Rangers, I'm sure he probably had at least 2 of them.
It's always Rangers and then Boston. But it's always Rangers at
It's
Arlington.
What is it called now? There's a new name for it now.
Is there a new name?
Yeah, for Texas, yeah, there's a new name now. It's not Arlington. It's not the ballpark.
Ballpark at Arlington?
No?
I'll look it up. Okay.
Is that because they ran Nolan Ryan off?
See, that's why.
So that brings us up to our next topic.
Sleazeball.
Well, people have been upset. They're saying because they've been leaving the team or whatever. But Kinsler was on there because of an issue.
What's his
We're
called?
having an issue with the
Josh Daniels?
Yeah.
John
Daniels.
John Daniels?
I
Something
don't
with
know.
J.
Texas sucks.
Yeah, John Daniels. Well, actually, yeah, Ian Kinsler recently, he was in an interview and he pretty much completely badmouthed the Rangers and specifically John Daniels.
Yeah.
And he hopes the Rangers
Go 162.
Go on 162.
So do I. But,
Yeah. So does everyone.
So Ian Kinsler momentarily, well, at least to us, looks like less of a douchebag, but he still is a fucking douchebag.
Globe Life Park Arlington.
Oh, okay. So Gabriel was right. It looks like they might have changed. The Rangers might have changed their ballpark from the Rangers ballpark in Arlington to the Globe Life Park.
Fuck that.
Well, like,
Yeah. They're helping them pay for it now. All right, there you go.
No, but yeah, for Ian Kinsler, we've always hated Ian Kinsler.
I always hated him.
At least now Ranger fans can stop defending him and say like, okay, he is a fucking douchebag.
He's a
Yeah.
douche.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do hope eventually the Rangers go 162 over 162.
Yeah.
And they actually interviewed Ron Washington about it, which he kind of shrugged it off and said, well, I can guarantee that the Rangers will not lose every game.
Yeah. Kids is always the one you speak his mind and so this and all, but he said the right stuff.
Yeah. And then they got a little upset because Josh Hamilton on Twitter he backed him up and he said something along the lines of, "See, how does it feel?"
It sucks being in a doghouse in Texas. Doesn't it? Yeah, it's not.
And then obviously Texas fans, fucking douchebags, jumped on Hamilton and talked shit on him for saying that. But it's true. I mean, they're all getting on his ass. But I mean, I don't know. I wasn't in the boardrooms. I wasn't in those meetings. I wasn't in hearing what happened. But I mean, when you get stuff happens, and he said that they were trying to move him over to first base, which makes sense that they brought over a first baseman to replace him, you know, with the trade with Prince Fielder. So he said, I don't want to move over to first because now they would put Profar at second base.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe there was some kind of shenanigans going on there.
Well, you know what? You can see because he wasn't happy that Michael Young was, traded. I mean, I'm sure he saw the whole things that Michael Young did for that organization as in playing third, playing short, playing second, playing outfield, playing DH, play everything. They try to do the same thing to him, play first. He's like, "Tuck no, I'm staying at second base, and if you can't you can't accommodate me, then basically, fuck you." That's what he basically said.
And he's a solid player.
He is a solid player, and that's why John Daniels saw that he couldn't do what he did with Michael Young. So his only alternative was to ship him out. I mean, because he stayed his ground. I'm staying at second. And that's it. You know that or trade me, and they traded him.
Well, also thing about that though was that he said, Ian Kinsler said that the last person you heard from is getting traded was him, and that should probably be the first person you hear from.
You heard it through social media.
Yeah, he heard it from social media. It's like, oh, what? Like I'm getting traded, and even John Downs didn't even call him until I think he said in a couple of days. Oh yeah, you really are getting traded. So that's kind of messed up too. Not especially you're thinking you're gonna play for this team for like they have no motive. They never brought it up to him.
Yeah, he's on the contract. So.
Yeah, all of a sudden I'm getting moved for what reason? He's like that's why supposedly he got most mad. But
and that did happen because I think I heard yesterday that he even apologized. John that he said. Well, yeah, he heard it through here, and I do apologize because I should have, he should have known first. I mean, through him, and he didn't. So social media, of course, and he didn't believe it, but it was true the whole time.
How do you think Kinsler will do it? Like, do you think he'll be able to back up all his shit talking? Because I was looking at his numbers for last year.
It's been going down.
He strikes out a lot. No,
His batting average went up a little bit. His last couple of years had been 250-ish range. He was 277 last year, but he had only 13 home runs
last year
in
right?
Texas.
Yeah.
Texas.
And now he's going to Detroit, which, well, after they've fixed their ballpark a little bit, it's not
They
as...
made it closer, right?
They made it closer.
A couple feet, but even though
Because
that couple feet,
it used to be like 370 down the line.
Yeah,
But
but he was always 30-30. I think he did it twice. Did
yeah,
he do it third
he's
or once?
fast. That's what I'm saying. Like he's solid because he's fast and he's got pop. But I've always seen him strike out a lot. I don't know what his numbers are. You know.
Yeah, he did
throughout the
30. Well,
season.
as far as what Gabe said, he did 30-30 twice. He did in 2009 and he did in 2011. But last year he just hit 13 bombs and 15 stolen bases, so he dropped quite a bit.
but also,
And strikeouts, actually, it wasn't too bad. 59 strikeouts last year.
I was gonna say that because I'm opposite. I rarely see him because at least when they play the Angels, it's like can't get this motherfucker out.
Well, it's
Is he
because everyone
here?
fucking tears up the Angels.
That's true. That's
Well,
right.
in Texas at least.
Texas.
He's a good 2-strike hitter.
And
I've
Chris
seen
Carter
that.
for
He's
the
just
Astros.
pesky. So
No, but come on, I'd rather have a Prince Fielder than Ian Kinsler, and especially for them. I don't know. I see Profar. I don't see that much anything that good coming from him because to me he doesn't look like a. At least now I don't see him as much, but what I have seen the last year, I think he's been up for almost 2 years. I think that last year he came up in the middle of the year 2 years ago. Then last year he was in and out, and on this year I don't see him being. He's the rated number one prospect 2 years ago or something. I don't see him doing what he should be doing, but I'd rather have a Prince Fielder than Ian Kinsler.
Yeah, Profar doesn't impress me as much. I'd rather have, but whether he's in the lineup or not, still Profar or not. If you're comparing like Ian Kinsler in the lineup rather than having, because now what the Rangers can do is now they have Fielder in the lineup. They move Mitch Moreland to DH.
Mm-hmm.
They put Chu in the outfield, and now Chris Gentry doesn't have to fucking play. He's on the A's. So
That's what
They're a
they
little
moved
more
him.
diverse.
too.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what they
or
moved
Craig
him.
Gentry, right? Craig.
Craig.
Yeah, Craig Gentry doesn't have to. He's on the A's now. They traded him.
Yeah.
So that pretty much that frees up, gives Profar a chance to develop instead of
Yeah.
Kinsler playing second base. Prince Fielder's now playing where Mitch Moreland would have. Mitch Moreland moves over to DH. Shin-Soo Choo plays in the outfield, and Craig Gentry's gone.
Yeah.
So
And Andrew's there for the next 8 years.
So it still worked out for them.
yeah,
Like, it's still-
the Rangers do scare me as an Angel fan. The Rangers scare me as
Yeah.
far as because they have solid pitching though.
Well, right now
Harrison and Holland, I think, are both
Yeah,
injured.
they're
Yeah.
very depleted. Yeah.
And then the A's are going to be the A's somehow, inexplicably win.
They're always
despite
surprising.
despite their MLB Network top, going back to that, only one player from the Angels, or the A's, were on that list.
Donaldson?
Donaldson.
Yeah.
No Cespedes. No.
So you mean not
Sogard? Sogard
not
wasn't
runner
on
up to fucking face of the MLB,
Sogard
which
was
was
on
Eric, right? Nobody knows.
Eric
Wait, who?
Eric Sogard.
Was
Yeah,
on-
exactly. Runner up.
I know who he is.
Hey,
Yeah.
I don't know if you
Nerd
saw
power.
my tweet back to the MLB.
I saw that. I saw that.
Because fans got to vote for on Twitter for face of the MLB, and the very first round, the very first challenge was Mike Trout, and this was in a previous
Episode?
recording.
Yeah.
It was Mike Trout and Paul Goldschmidt, and it was very close, but Paul Goldschmidt beat
Won,
Mike
yeah.
Trout, which is stupid because everyone knows the face of the MLB is Mike Trout.
right now, yeah.
Right now, yeah.
Definitely.
And so I thought that was stupid that fans got to vote. So all you had to do is any idiot with a phone can retweet. Was it 25 times maximum?
Yeah,
So
without
they just got
knowing
everyone.
anything.
Yeah. And so they just got who nobody knows Eric Sogard. I think that's his name. I've been calling him Eric. If it's not Eric, I'm sorry.
It is Eric.
It's
But-
Eric
Just
Sogard.
come
Eric
over.
with the
He got
K.
second place. Who did he beat? He beat.
I don't even know who won.
Big
They were
Jeter?
right. They were right.
No. David Wright won it.
One.
David
Oh,
Wright
he
won?
beat Jeter. Yeah,
He beat
David Wright
Jeter.
won.
He beat
But
Jeter.
he beat Jeter,
He beat Jeter.
who technically, arguably, is
Yeah,
right
right
now.
He is the fucking face. Well, this is his last year.
So he should be.
Yeah.
So yeah, if Trout wouldn't have won it, and it would have been Jeter.
Jeter.
Even David Wright winning, even though he's a good, solid player, that
Yeah.
seems kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
He's a white bread, like American baseball player, whatever
Yeah.
you want
Yeah,
to look
he
at
is.
it.
He better have won. If Eric's, that would have been a joke.
It would have been a big joke. It's a joke that he got where he got.
And
so.
then my tweet was,
I think he beat Felix Hernandez.
No, and I brought-
he beat a lot of good.
Well,
like,
he
other
beat out
players.
20, at least the fact that he got there that far, he technically, in one way or another, beat out 28 other players.
well, in his
Yeah.
own team.
Well, why wouldn't even like a Donaldson be on there? At least
Yeah.
if you think
Or
of the
Cespedes.
if you-
Cespedes.
Cespedes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think the A's is Cespedes.
Well, my tweet was that because the fans vote for the All-Star game. So my tweet was,
Is there still going to make the All-Star team?
well, that, and then this better not end up being a joke, because, just like this, the fans get to vote for it. So are we going to vote in some retard to go and play the All-Star game when it actually matters because the winner gets home field advantage?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that important like football when you have home field advantage, but, it still makes a difference.
Yeah.
Well, football's All-Star game is a joke, though, pretty much. So.
Well,
They're Pro Bowl.
Pro Bowl.
Because it's done after the season, isn't it?
Yeah, no,
that's
done
before the Super Bowl.
They tackle like this.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like, get down.
Please stay down.
Two-hand touch.
Yeah.
All right. So going off topic, I brought up a recording of Mike Trout. He was on just because in the offseason they signed him for a 1-year, $1 million contract. And he's big on Twitter too, so fans were tweeting at him saying that's a joke, giving you $1 million for 1 year, even though that was a record-breaking contract.
Yeah.
For 0 to 3 years.
And I actually have something to say. Well, you
Go ahead.
I guess I didn't hear it myself, so this is kind of going off secondhand. But I was hearing Steve Mason from Mason Ireland.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure if you guys know. He actually hosts or is on Good Day LA sometimes as a host.
Heard of him.
And then he, because he's Mason Ireland, he does the ESPN 710, and he was talking about the Angels, like saying that was insult to Mike Trout. I was like, does he not know what the reason why they were doing just a $1 million contract, which is, like you said, record-breaking contract.
Yeah.
In retrospect, he's doing way more than $1 million worth.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why. The Angels have no obligation to pay him more than the league.
Yeah, they don't have to.
At all.
Not at least for the next 2 years.
Because people don't get it. They
So
just we should get more, but it's just...
And that's why I was saying that, like, they keep tweeting at him, that's a joke, you should be getting paid a lot more. If you came to my town, and obviously...
They would have gave you the same amount or less.
Yeah.
Which is...
Because they don't have to.
Yeah, this is all a setup to what the Angels are trying to do, which... Right now, because the original reporting was that they were going to sign him to a 6-year deal at $140-150 million contract, which is I've heard, and people were saying like, that seems kind of like not that great of a deal for the Angels, though any deal more Trout is better. More Trout is better than no Trout.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at it, if let's say they were taking into account 6-year deal, counting this year, which would be basically a 2-year extension.
2 year, because they signed him for another. They still have him under contract for the next 4 years.
And if you're doing quick math, because the Angels already have him under contract for the next 4 years. Let's say this year they don't have to pay him shit, which $1 million is the maximum which we were going to pay him.
Hit arbitration.
The next 3 years where he does hit arbitration, let's say he breaks records and gets the most possible. Let's say he averages $20 million a year in arbitration, which would be breaking records. Yeah. That's $60 million. If the Angels were giving him $150 or $140, that's paying him $80 to $90 million a year for a 2-year deal.
Right, 2-year extension. Yeah.
2-year extension, basically $40 to $45 million a year for those 2 years. What the Angels would be doing,
which is more than anyone else ever per year.
Yeah. So it wouldn't be wise for the Angels to do that. So what they were doing, because originally when I heard that, I was like, okay. More Trout is, so it's not my money. I don't care. More Trout is better than no Trout. 2 years of Trout is better than 0 years of Trout after that. But then they came out and said, like, okay, what they were going to do, a strategy, is that they're doing a 1-year deal before the season starts to keep the Angels below the luxury tax.
Yeah.
Wait for the season to start, or at least work out a deal where it starts after the season starts, where it's a 6-year deal. So,
and I heard that too, that after that they were talking about maybe after the first game of the year offering him that deal, or maybe trying to come to an agreement where they offer him that deal after the first game, because that means that it passes this year's luxury tax where they stay below, and now next year and the years forward they sign him for a big contract.
So the way to look at it is essentially it's a 7-year deal worth $151 million contract, where the first year is just a $1 million contract. The rest is weighted to work out like 20 to 30 range, depending on how they decide.
Did you hear what it was going to? What the structure was? Like structure first year was like 14.
Yeah.
Second year was like 20, and then I think the last year
like
they'd be
38,
which is still he'd be paying the most per year.
That'd
be a record there already too.
And I think the Angels were a little weary of making a big contract in like his further years, even though he's still young, he'll be what 28.
29,
He'll
28,
when it comes off of that,
it'll be a 29.
A 6 year.
And
Just
'cause-
say it'll be a 6 year
Yeah,
from
it
now.
does a 6 year
It's
because I mean they've been burned a little so far with the whole Pujols deal and the Hamilton deal,
So far, yeah.
and so I mean I don't see how he wouldn't take it if it was a 6-year contract
Starting
even after
now,
this,
or-
yeah, even starting after this
Yeah.
year, because he'd still be about 28, 29. Because
You get another 10 year.
yeah, he's got what at least another 10 years after that. He can sign this contract and still be set for another big contract like Pujols did. He was there with the Cardinals for 9 years,
And he was
then-
31.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
he was 31. He'll be 28. He can still get like another
Wait, well, I-
$300 million,
Yeah.
320. Hopefully, it's with the Angels. I mean,
Hopefully
if he's
with the
still
Angels.
good, I mean, but I mean, even before it gets to that, but I mean, yeah, he has a potential to get almost close to $500 million.
Which is
total.
hard with him because he's a fast guy, which means he's prone to possible hamstring injuries. I mean, not to say anything negative because I love Trout. He's an amazing player, and I wish.
Well, just look at Peter Borges.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not the player he is, but as far as speed goes, he's consistently getting injured, and he's not even like the talented as a stolen base. Even though he might be faster than Trout in the sprint,
Yeah.
he's not. Trout's a way more talented base stealer, and he gets better jumps off fielding. But
Yeah.
look at Borges. He's been in the last 3 years we've had him, or before we traded him to the Cardinals, he's been injured consistently. And actually, just report today came out that he has leg tightness for the Cardinals.
Wow.
So-
see that's what one thing is that they're prone to that. But let me play this real quick because
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
in our text messaging group that we talk, some guys, because we have a mixture of Angel fans, Dodger fans, and Braves fans,
And a Brave fan.
One.
Braves fan.
and they were talking about the whole thing with the Trout contract, and they're saying he's gonna leave, he's gonna go to the Dodgers, he's gonna go here, and I said if he leaves, he's gonna leave to the Phillies or the Yankees.
Yep.
Why?
Exactly.
Because he
That's
grew
where
up
he's
a
from.
Philly fan.
But
He's
he-
a
but he
big
grew up
Philadelphia Eagles fan
Yep.
in
And
football.
he loves Jeter, so
Yeah,
and maybe if he was
And the Yankees have the cash. So
Yeah.
Did you quickly before? Did you hear about? I think this might have been if the deal didn't go through, which is that supposedly a team like the Red Sox was trying to prepare their team like 3 to 4 years from now, which would be if the Angels didn't sign an extension to like
I don't think he
free
would.
up their contracts. So
Really?
they
Well,
could-
one thing is
Damn.
because Trout is big on his fans. He's big on that. So I think he would take exception to, say, like to people being upset if, say, he did go to the Dodgers for the money. Why? Because he's an Angel, so he knows that we're enemies. That he wouldn't leave to the Dodgers. He won't go to the Red Sox because he has no affiliation with them.
I guess to kind of look at it the other way, I think let's say we sign him to the extension, right?
Uh-huh.
We keep him for technically
7
more years from now, in a total of 9 years. Let's say we make the playoffs only one time or less.
Right.
I think that would be enough for him to be like,
Yeah.
all right, fuck this team. The
Yeah.
Dodgers are
Yeah.
competitive.
No, but I think with him, he just loves the game, and he's willing to go with his heart. Like he'll go to what team. He'll only go to what team he wants. Like what team he likes. I mean, he's a big Philly fan, and people are bringing it up because his family every offseason, people spend it where they live or where they play. Because who else doesn't want to fucking if they're playing out here in LA, why are you gonna leave perfect weather during the winter to go back to fucking Millville, New Jersey?
Yeah.
Because he goes back and visits his family. He's a family man. He
goes back
grew
home.
up there. Yeah, he goes
Yeah.
back home. So I think if anything, he's gonna go to Philly, or he's gonna go to the Yankees. I don't think there's anything else because he doesn't want to face the scrutiny. He doesn't want to face the fans upset with him for leaving, say like the Angels to go to the Dodgers.
Well,
to
even if
go
he leaves
Boston.
Even-
Nobody
What-
likes
what-
Boston.
even if he leaves the Yankees, that's still kind of bad. I hate the Yankees.
Well,
too.
There's worse teams.
Yeah,
because
there's
where
worse
he
teams.
grew up,
yeah,
where he
but
grew up,
it makes
was-
sense. It makes sense, but
What
I just
about
hope it
let's
doesn't
say? Well, this is kind of like just kind of putting on something on the parents whether they want to move or not. But let's say he gets his millions of dollars now. What about moving his parents down to?
Well, yeah, I mean,
Ahsoka.
hey, go buy a house in Newport Coast. I mean, I'm
Pretty
sure
sure the
they
parents would
love it
love
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's maybe just
Disneyland's right here.
Yeah, maybe just waiting for his millions of dollars to be able to move his parents down here.
Well, because he tweeted out, or somebody was mentioning that he tweeted out saying that he's looking for a house, but doesn't know where to get it, and so.
There's something I've read which might not be true because I read it on the internet. Or anything on the internet.
Everything on the internet is true.
That somebody was saying that his girlfriend, or I'm not sure if it's his fiance now or whatever, his girlfriend that he's had for a while.
Jessica Terra.
That I guess she's a teacher, and I guess she loves it down here.
Yeah.
She says she loves it. So how much that plays into something there?
No.
Which hopefully convince him, Jessica.
Yeah. Please.
Yeah.
But
please.
Or Artie Marino throw some money at that school and.
But even
don't be funny.
And I guess the worst case scenario, let's say, assuming this trade goes through, this deal goes through.
Yeah, you bite your tongue when you say that.
It's 9 years of Trout.
Yeah.
That's a pretty decent time to have Trout. But, and I guess even then, even if he does, I kind of hesitate to even say it, but even if he does go to the Dodgers, I'd still like to see him continue his career, get out those Hall of Fame type numbers, which hopefully he would go into the Hall of Fame as an Angel.
Yeah.
The first one, maybe?
Well, yeah, actually, most likely. Cause
so he does have a chance to be the best Angel of all time.
Easily.
At least offensively, for the offensive numbers, he has.
Well, even defensively, he can.
Of all the offensive numbers, because he's fast, so he can get the most steals, the most hits, the most.
As awesome as Edmonds and Erstad were defensively, freaking Trout could even compete with them.
Yeah,
because I think our most best offensive hitter of all time. I was watching it today before the Angel game. Well, with home runs was 299. How can he not break?
And actually, I brought it up,
and that's King Fish, so he is a dominant fish.
I brought it up in the past episode once, but I was comparing WAR as far as like the top Angels of all time. In just 2 years, the Mike Trout is already in the top 6 Angels of all time in career WAR as far as the Angels go.
That's 2 years. Like
that's 2 fucking years. Mm-hmm. And they said the only players ahead of him, this is kind of a while ago that I saw this, but I know it's Bobby Grich, Jim Fregosi, rest in peace, just passed away recently.
Yeah.
Darren Erstad, and Tim Salmon. No, I think he already passed Anderson.
What about Rob Quinlan?
I think he might have already passed Anderson.
What about Liz Pony?
Or I think Anderson might still be ahead of him, but there's only like 5 players ahead of him. Or sorry, there's like 8 players ahead of him. After this year, only like 3 players will be ahead of him, and after 3 or 4 years of playing, he'll be number 1 already in just 4 fucking years as Angel. As far as WAR goes, whether you put stock into WAR or not, in just 4 years, and actually
wins up with replacement.
Yeah, and it just compares him to the rest of pretty much the rest of the league, and how much more valuable he is than like the average player who
that's why he should have won MVP 2 years in a row.
Yeah, and as far as that goes, I think right now he's almost at 20 career WAR. And something I brought up in the last episode, one of the past episodes too, is the average career WAR for a Hall of Famer is 60.
60.
There's some. That's basically where the consensus is. If that's what they look at, or kind of like if you have at 60 WAR, there's most likely you might make it into the Hall of Fame. Though there's players like right now, Scott Rowland, who won't be in the Hall of Fame. No. He's not going to be in the Hall of Fame. Who has had 60, but there's
the
players.
Hall of Fame right now to me is a joke.
And there's players like Kirby Puckett who are in the Hall of Fame who are at 55 career WAR. So it's kind of like it's not foolproof. Like there's players like Bobby Grich that finished with a career WAR of 80.
Yeah, he should be in there.
He's the poster boy of somebody who should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
he's career WAR 80 who's not in the Hall of Fame. But Mike Trout, realistically,
in 6 years can be
years can be considered a Hall of Famer.
But even about that, the WAR wasn't even like a stat.
It's not something that people. It's more like stat heads like
it's more
Brian Kenny.
People actually know baseball, then they know what WAR really kind of means. But people who like, oh, why is he in the Hall of Fame? They look at.
I still get like
average and RBI.
I still get like one of my coworkers and even Ernie, our cousin Ernie, Braves fan, who will like kind of like scoff at when I bring up WAR and scoff at like, okay, that doesn't mean shit, or which it's something that's going to keep rising. It is something that matters. It looks at everything like they just think WAR. Okay, well, what does that fucking do? WAR means nothing. I was like, okay, well, it means everything basically.
WAR is like kind of like an ERA for a pitcher. Like if you have a good WAR. Doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna win, but it just gives you more of a chance. If ERA doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna win, but you give her a better chance. That's what they base a pitcher on is their ERA usually.
Yeah, it's
because
not.
you can go like when Felix Hernandez won the Cy Young, he had more losses I think than wins, and then they based it on his ERA, which was in the 2s. But of course, Seattle that year, they've been sucking for a couple years. Yeah. The WAR, same thing. He had a better WAR than anybody, better than Miguel Cabrera, but still lost.
And that bugs me because Felix Hernandez won the Cy Young that year.
Yeah.
And
13.
Why? Because he was the best pitcher. But the MVP does not go to Mike Trout, even though he was the best player, because he didn't make the playoffs.
Or he didn't win the Triple Crown. Triple Crown, okay.
That's an award in itself.
Triple Crown.
Just how I don't.
Exactly.
That's its own award.
Hold on. Let me play this.
Yeah, do it.
let me play this before I forget. And then we're getting
close to the end.
All right. So
you're supposed to play.
So here's the Mike Trout, and then I forgot what I was gonna say. I'm drunk, but here we go.
Let's talk about what yesterday meant to you and what you think, because everyone's speculating this is like the first step to the next step, which is long-term deal. What can you tell us?
For Artie and the Angels going out of their way, they could easily paid me, league minimum or whatever they wanted to do, but they stepped out and gave me $1 million, and I'm happy for it, and it makes me feel good about the organization.
You're such a nice man to say that they really took care of, because we're hearing all kind of stuff. 40 million, 10 years, 400 million. I mean, when you see the contracts that are going out, and then you look at your numbers compared to everyone else, you're like, wow, I have a chance here to be really wealthy.
Yeah, there's going to be a chance. I'm just happy where I'm at right now. I'm healthy. I'm happy to be here, and I'm excited for the year.
You were a center fielder, then you were a left fielder. It struck those of us that cover the game and watch the game as a little bit odd that at one point last year it was sort of suggested that metrically, defensively, Peter Borges is better than Mike Trout. And I know we had these conversations. It just never felt that way. How did that feel to either hear it, or did you never have to hear that?
I like playing center field. I'm comfortable out there and playing it my whole life, and maybe it didn't seem like it. Playing left, didn't bother me, but you always want to be in your comfort zone in that center field.
And you're back there this year.
Yeah, back there this year.
So you feel good about that.
I feel real good.
And we understand you'll be hitting second.
Second, yep. That's what I think. That's where I'm going to be.
In front of a healthy Albert and hopefully a healthy Josh Hamilton.
Yep, that's
not a bad place
healthy.
to be.
Nah, see a lot of heaters. Hopefully.
Your boy Jeter, 20 years a Yankee, left. Always said he wanted to be a Yankee. When you were growing up, what team did you want to be on?
I was a Phillies fan growing up.
So you wanted to be a John Kruk kind of guy?
No, 9% body fat. We've way surpassed.
You could be an angel for life if this whole thing plays out.
Growing up watching Jeter, and playing shortstop. Played shortstop till about my senior year in high school. Just a role model on and off the field, and seeing him going out, retiring this year, it's I'm gonna take it in. You always can go back on on the internet and look up some highlights of the when he cut off the home plate and threw it to home. That was just the things he does, and on and off the field. He had an amazing career.
We mentioned the podcast.
So they kind of threw out a couple things. I thought it was a little instigating, trying to say the Angels didn't value you enough to leave you at center field where you felt comfortable playing your whole life, even though up until high school you played shortstop.
Honestly,
love you, Trout. Sorry.
The way I looked at it, as far as when they made Borges play center and Trout play left, I don't know. Maybe it's just me trying to make it not seem as an insult to Trout. I almost saw it as they thought, as far as maximum as they can do. They figured Borges was more valuable in center than being in left field. They thought Trout would probably be more likely to transition to left field rather than Borges.
Well, I saw that.
Still made good.
A bit more limited. Did that. Okay, Borges' comfort zone was in center field, and they thought Trout would be a little bit more valuable and say, okay, if we have Trout
more
center,
versatile.
But they thought Borges would struggle more in left than Trout would.
Yeah.
At least that's how kind of I looked at it. Maybe it's just wishful, thinking that.
That's how I saw it too. I saw that Trout was a little bit more versatile, that he could be a left fielder, whereas if you put Borges in left field, he'd be like, what am I doing? So
because Borges is when healthy, he's an outstanding center fielder as well.
Yeah.
And as far as like this, so they figured, okay, maybe putting Trout in center, and then Borges in left. That'll be an outstanding center fielder with a potentially
Mediocre.
rocky left
Yeah.
fielder. That if you move him around, puts Borges in center, it's an outstanding center fielder, and a outstanding left fielder. With that's at least that's the way I saw it.
Yeah. And that was the best outfield ever.
Yeah, because even Hamilton, even though he's not as fast as those two, he's a solid outfielder. Even last year, seeing Hamilton play like shit, and hitting wise at least, he was still making solid plays out there, and he has a cannon, pretty solid arm.
Yeah,
solid, accurate. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, because I would still be like, all right, I'm fucking pissed at Hamilton because he's constantly striking out, but all right, he dove for that and made a pretty nice play.
All right, so it's about time we wrap it up. We're getting not close to the 1 hour mark. Any final comments you want to make about anything?
No, actually, well, just wanted to take this to invite Gabriel to play fantasy baseball. I think we still have an open spot. We have Raul and Bert's in it.
As long as I get the first pick and get Trout. So.
Wait, am I in it? Yeah, I haven't seen the invite yet.
Did I do that? Have I gotten your email address yet?
I don't know. I guess
Okay,
not.
afterwards you tell me your email address.
Okay.
We have a couple spots still open.
Someone invite me then. And
Okay,
I'll
invite you.
I'll get in there. Thanks.
Alright, so if you guys want to follow us, go to loscompadresdelbeis.com. That's BEIS. Drop us a comment, or if you have a question that we will talk about on air, go there. Go ahead and talk. Say something. So I can find the number so they can call.
Something.
You have a number?
Alright,
We have a number.
Oh, we do?
Yeah,
we do have a
somewhere,
number.
if I can find it.
Why haven't I?
Drawn.
quickly, I made a couple quick bets with our Braves fan Ernie.
What was
To see
You
what
already
his
won.
thoughts are.
You already won.
It's just random little bets within Braves versus Angels. Best 3 out of 5. It's Calhoun versus Andrelton Simmons. Whether who would do better.
Okay.
Who else? Oh, Josh Hamilton versus Jason Hayward.
Okay.
Home runs or
Just pretty much overall. I guess we're gonna have somebody
Did
kind
you-
of be the judge.
Did you do Freddie Freeman versus Albert Pujols?
No, it was Cole. Who the fuck else was there? I'm kind of forgetting on there. I know there was a
Trout.
No, there was Trout versus team. And then there was, cause I know there was one that we kind of kicked off there. There was a Santiago versus, I think, Tehran, the pitcher.
Oh, yeah.
And then there was one more that I'm forgetting. But, yeah, I'm trying to see how that goes.
All right. Well, if you have, leave us a voicemail. The number is 657-229-2347. That's 657-229-BASE. BEIS.
Wait. Why do we have a 657 number?
Because that's Anaheim alternate.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Never knew that.
Alternate to 714. Love you.
Bye.
See?